Some of you should really take a break from the game. A few weeks ago, we received update 8.0, which included the siege mode. It is awesome. It is exactly what was promised and more. But this subreddit, as well as Space Marine 2, the other subreddit, I guess, was flooded with complaints. My teammates are not on my level. Oh, okay, all right, that's one complaint to highlight, I guess. That Vanguard had the wrong perk. Oh god, okay, so one of these are not like the other. That Bulwark doesn't properly use his invigorating icon. That guy uses Assault in Siege mode. People summon the Dreadnought too early. Okay, some of these... some of these are like legitimate, like good advice, you know what I mean? And then some of these are obviously complaints. Brothers, please, if you are really so upset, then play in a private lobby or look for equally competitive players, which should be in hard mode, by the way. But please don't be mad when people play their favorite class or use a non-meta perk loadout, or God forbid, are not as good as you. Okay, I'll give you the perk loadout one. I'll give you that one. People can get seriously salty about the team perks right now, and that's honestly why I'm enjoying my time a lot in normal siege mode, because I don't have to worry about what team perks you guys are using, because guess what? I'm probably using off-meta team perks as well. So, but yeah, in hard mode, I was definitely using, you know, squad renewal for sniper, and that's pretty meta. But overall, I feel like this post is kind of interesting. I really want to gauge people's reaction to it. But yeah, when it comes to siege mode, we were waiting for something like this for a while. So don't be surprised that we got a little, we got a little sweaty over it. We were gauging the best teams before siege mode even came out. And the reason we are doing this is because at the time we had Absolute 1.0. We didn't have endgame content. We had like a little bit of endgame content, but now we actually have like a big chunk of it. And yeah, we want to see what types of enemies we can come into. Like if we're in wave 30 or whatever, like a large part of that is because, yeah, we're getting sweaty. Like, dude, yeah, siege mode is a different experience. We are using siege mode as a way to kind of push builds to see what they're really capable of. Yeah, as far as like my teammates are not on my level, that's not a real complaint. That is us talking about hard mode. That is not about like normal mode. I don't really care about normal mode. I have a lot of fun with it. In fact, if you jump into normal mode level 1, it even gives me a little bit of a challenge because we don't have a team perk, and yeah, we actually just work off of that. So a lot of things in normal siege mode you can get away with. In hard siege mode, jumping in there under leveled, yeah, you can't get away with that. You're not gonna make a good push. And then it's not really a complaint to say, hey guys, don't jump into hard mode under leveled. You're not gonna have a good time. It's advice. It's like legitimate advice. That Vanguard had the wrong perk. I would say that's similar to what we're dealing with hard mode. But I don't know. Unmatched Zeal. I legitimately haven't seen too much Unmatched Zeal in siege mode. I've seen it like once or twice. And of course, it's very useful. But I haven't seen anybody like force somebody to pick Unmatched Zeal. I did see like one conversation of people talking about playing Vanguard, but they decided just, nah, I just want to play what class I want to play, which is the way it should be. And honestly, if you're level 25 Prestige 4, and you're running a class that you want to play, and maybe it's a little bit off meta, and you jump into hard mode, I think that's fine. I think your level is high enough to still be impactful. I'm not too worried about you playing like anything aggressively off meta in hard siege. I guess it really depends. But yeah, ultimately, if you're Prestige 4, level 25, I know you have what it takes to at least get to wave 15. But when it comes to like wave 20, wave 25, wave 30, those waves, don't be surprised if not being meta is holding you back from pushing these waves, because a lot of these waves are built to be impossible in a way. So you just want to make sure that you have the tools necessary to push, to keep pushing big waves. It's really not a it's really not like some of you should really take a break from the game thing. It's like, dude, no, we've been preparing for this for a while. This is why we're getting so sweaty about it. But that's why it's also just as frustrating to see players who just like jump into siege mode like, oh man, I'm level 3. Okay, let's see how hard siege mode is because I beat Elden Ring. Like, it's not the same game, guys. It's not the same game. But I would definitely like to talk about the siege mode difficulty overall and compare it to some other games, but I just think it's kind of like, eggs and oranges or whatever. Eggs, yes, eggs and oranges, guys. It's not apples and oranges, it's eggs. That guy uses assault and siege mode. Yeah, like some of these I do agree with. You should take a break from the game. Like if you're playing the assault class in siege mode, you're fine, dude. Just keep playing siege mode with the assault class. Just again, when it comes to hard siege mode and going into those deep waves, don't be surprised if playing assault puts you in a position to get a little bit frustrated when it comes to like wave 16, wave 18, wave 26, whatever. Those endless waves in hard mode, I can imagine, the assault class would definitely have a little bit of a rough time compared to the other classes. And with that said, I do have a hard mode assault build I am waiting to jump into hard mode with. Just waiting like a little bit for some of these, some of these lower levels to get filtered a bit. But yeah, I will definitely be trying that out soon. People summon Dreadnought too early. Yeah, dude, that's not... See, some of these are, like, legit, like, sure, they're playing the game too much, like the assault complaint, fine. But, like, people summon the Dreadnought too early, that's, again... That is legitimate advice that is supposed to help you navigate siege mode a little bit better. But like with that said, you can definitely get to the point in siege mode where you don't really need the Dreadnought on wave 15 anymore. Like that's pretty much where your progression starts to unravel in siege mode, is how long can you go without spending any points? Because the longer you go in that sense, the better chance you have to push the endless waves. And using the Dreadnought too early, it's kind of on the same boat of that. It's like, okay, fine, you can use Dreadnought wave 14 if you want, but like don't be mad if we don't complete wave 15 or anything like that, But yeah, let's gauge the community's reaction to this, because I feel like this post is kind of all over the place. Everything would be fine if people could take some responsibility for their actions. Playing a team game, people will want you to do certain things. Playing with randoms, expect every kind of behavior. You don't owe them anything, so do they not owe you anything in return? Okay, so nobody owes anything to anybody. What is this? But sadly, there's huge percent of so-called working dads. I'm playing to have fun and you can't stop me. I'm playing to have fun, and you can't stop me. It's like the sweatiest way to like be casual. It's just aggressively casual. Dude, nobody has an issue with gamer dads, bro. Like what? I guess the only way I would have an issue with a gamer dad is if they just obviously needed to be educated on how hard siege mode works. I don't think there's a lot of gamer dads out there who are like, dude, I only have like an hour to play a game. Let's jump into hard siege mode under-leveled for the most miserable experience I can think of. Like, I don't think that's... I don't understand... I don't think this person exists. Who thinks that they have any right to demand something for their own comfort because they are working dads? Look, like... Oh my god, I would not. Like, dude, like, are you kidding me? I can't imagine, like, obviously putting in a hard days of work, right? Coming home and then getting sweaty about like what people are using. It's like, bro, you're just gonna stress yourself out. Like, dude, you can't, like, seriously, if you're a working dad and you're gaming, bro, you don't owe a dang thing to anybody, man. You can do whatever you want, man. You can do whatever you want. But like ultimately, I don't think gaming dads are out there jumping into ranked Overwatch or something, expecting a casual experience to just like hang out with. Dude, this is the same conversation with invasions, but like on a different scale. Like I remember, if you're not aware, invasions are a mechanic in Elden Ring where you can invade other people's levels, and there was this big hubbub, there's this big argument about invaders essentially invading working dads, and the conversation pretty much just revolves around, man, they're casual players in Elden Ring, and it's like, bro, it's Elden Ring. There isn't casual players. Like, you don't get me wrong, you can casually play Elden Ring, yes. But like, if you're a working dad and you're getting invaded, it's largely due to the fact that you are playing Elden Ring. It's like you're picking a bad game. You're picking a bad game to just like casually play. You're picking a From Software game to kick your feet up with after a long day's work. It just doesn't apply correctly, because like the game itself is built in a very oppressive way that's supposed to make you feel frustrated. Like, it is genuinely going to go out of their way to make sure bosses are as frustrating as possible. Like, people just wanted to point at invaders because it was like it was somebody to blame for their bad time or whatever. But like, you can't argue that Elden Ring, for whatever reason, outside of invasions, are somehow a casual gaming dad experience. It's wild. Also, by the way, I will admit, I do think Space Marine 2 definitely has more gaming dad, possibilities than Elden Ring, 100%. Like, you can just jump into an operation at minimal. That's the exact, like, oh, let me just warm up with a little bit of, casual gameplay. And yeah, maybe after that, if I feel a little sweaty, you can jump into a heightened invasions or hard mode or whatever. But like, if you're a gaming dad, you still do have the responsibility for you enjoying your time. And I can't imagine, being under-leveled in hard siege mode is a way for you to enjoy your time. I just don't think, like, you're not benefiting anybody at that point. You're not benefiting yourself, and you're not benefiting the players you're playing with. So no, people don't owe anything to each other, but they do owe something to themselves. They are at the very least trying to have fun with this game. I can't believe I was able to talk about this comment so much, but like, this is the first time I've seen like this. This kind of reminded me of the invasion conversations. So it was pretty easy just to imagine the amount of conversations that were centered around that topic. Okay, go whenever they want because they are looking for fun without even thinking of collateral damage they are dealing around. Meanwhile, like, yeah, this person doesn't exist. The way they are painting this gamer dad is so hilarious because he's like, I'm having fun, you can't stop me, I don't care about any collateral damage around me while I'm having fun in this video game. Like, dude, collateral damage, I wish I thought about that, because there was collateral damage sounds so funny within this context, because I think collateral damage actually applies to like the invasion conversation I was talking about earlier. Yeah, dude, people genuinely said that invaders were basically assaulting players because it was like, what is it, non-consensual PvP, but in Elden Ring, there's not really consensual PvP. It's because you're interacting with the multiplayer system that gets you invaded. It's not because somebody's like hacking into your world and actually, like, trolling you or anything. They're playing within the systems, it's so I mean, okay, don't make the argument that playing within the systems is joining in hard siege mode under level. That is not playing within the system. It's just like the game straight up tells you, hey man, if you go into absolute operations under leveled, you're gonna have a bad time. So it's the game lets you do it, but it shouldn't. it shouldn't. That's honestly the one topic that I think is worth getting sweaty over is low levels in hard siege mode. No, kick them out. Kick them out. Literally, if you see somebody under-leveled in hard siege mode, you should kick them from your team. Yes. That is every time. Every time. I beat hard mode 15 waves multiple times. Reality, it doesn't matter what people use. As long as people are good, that's what matters. I mean, yeah, ultimately I agree with that. However, it doesn't matter what people use. I'm not going to put low-level hard siege mode enjoyers, for whatever reason, under that umbrella because they're not using anything because they don't have a team perk, man. Okay, but yes, as long as they're good, that's fine. But yeah, that only goes so far in this game. Hard mode wave 15 and hard mode wave 25, way different survivor requirements, 100%. Not everyone has to use meta stuff all the time. I agree with that if your aim is hard mode wave 15. I agree with that. If your aim is hard mode wave 25, hard mode wave 30, whatever, I will admit the meta is practically going to be a huge part of you going to be able to push those waves without feeling like you're too burnt out, essentially. Because yeah, if you're not using healing, you're gonna have to play perfectly. That's gonna take a lot of effort. So you're definitely gonna feel the struggle a little bit more. And yeah, it's when it all comes down to like consistency and being able to stay focused throughout multiple waves. Sometimes meta just helps you clean up your mistakes and you don't have to worry about it too much, so you don't get distracted. There's a lot of reasons why meta just works in this game. And I think obviously in the hardest content of the game, I think meta is very appropriate, 100%. People that complain about the things that you said need to be carried by meta stuff because they're so garbage at the game and can't make other items perks work. Okay, so I guess you're referring to crutches. And I think overall, maybe there's a conversation to be had about that, but I'm not too sure if we're there yet. Let's make sure underlevels aren't in hard siege mode, and then we can talk about how much we can stretch off meta in hard mode. Honestly, I am getting to the point in normal siege mode where I feel like I'm a little bit too comfortable. So yeah, hard siege mode is definitely where I'm aiming. Where I'm probably going to be aiming a lot of my, siege mode games. However, if I'm going off meta, I'm jumping into normal siege mode. If I want to get sweaty, I'll jump into hard siege mode. If I want to use, like, I don't know, LF squad renewal, that's what I went into hard siege mode with my first time, or my first completion, I guess. I think I did like 1 or 2 hard modes with the heavy that I got to like wave 15 with, but I didn't have any teammates with me. And yeah, I don't think I can beat hard mode wave 15 by myself yet. I can get like halfway within like the triple hellbrute or whatever. I can make some progress on it, but I don't have enough practice with it yet. But eventually it's definitely a challenge I'm interested in doing. But yeah, overall, when it comes to being carried by meta stuff, I think it's when you get a team that's like level 25 prestige 4, level 25 prestige 4, level 25 prestige 2, and they're off meta. You really start to notice if that person was fully leveled playing meta. You can definitely tell a difference. And it's not so much people trying to beat hard mode wave 15, even though I hear a lot of people are like on and off with that. Sometimes people get good teams, sometimes people get the wave 15 and they lose because they didn't get the Dreadnought or something. The margin of error for hard mode is very slim, so that's why it's not so much being carried by meta stuff. It's more so about like how the meta just plays within the game to allow you to survive some of these situations. Like there's not really a perk out there that just tears everything apart. And by everything, I mean everything. Like, if you wanted to point at intimidating aura or something in that situation, that's not tearing apart Terminus enemies. It can tear apart Rubric Marines or whatever, sure, but it's not going to carry you past wave 15 when the Hellbrutes aren't getting damaged by intimidating aura. You know what I mean? So like, and even on the subject of Unmatched Zeal. Unmatched Zeal, I think, does a great job at making sure your teammates can survive on their own and teamwork isn't as necessary. And then, obviously, if you have a Bulwark on your team, if you have Unmatched Zeal, the Bulwark can actually throw Invigorating Icon away and get more cooldown on the banner. I don't know. I just don't think anything in this game is, like, that big of a crutch. I think, obviously, there's a meta, but, like, the thing is, the meta is seemingly simple. It's just heal yourself. it's not like there's a perk out there that's giving you 200% extra damage. I mean, I know Battle Focus can do that. I know Battle Focus can, pair up with the scan perks very well. But still, Tactical can't heal themselves. Tactical still. It all comes down to teamwork. Is basically my point. If you're carrying, then you're just really good at the game. I mean, you can't carry a team with Unmatched Zeal if your other 2 players are not going to, be that good with it. I've even lost an operation recently because we had Unmatched Zeal, and the entire second half of the operation, nobody confirmed an execution on an Extremist. They kept killing it before they could execute it. So nobody healed. And then we all died at the end to Trigon Prime. And Trigon Prime was at like 1%. Dude, it was one of the most frustrating experiences I've ever had. Dude, oh my god, like, it was terrible. Like, it was one of those operations where there was a zone thrope that was kind of being a problem. And as a team, we all shot it down. But then nobody got the execution. And it just popped right back up. And then we had to shoot it down again. And then it was so... Dude, I swear. Like, you can carry some players, I guess, but like when it comes to siege mode, eventually it's just not going to be enough. Like the mistakes they're making are just going to continue to hold back your team unless unless they actually get better at the game. There is a difference between complaining and trying to spread awareness. I have lost count of the amount of times I had to explain how to properly use a stim, for instance, or that if I ping an execution, I'm trying to heal you. Anyhow, I agree with most of the original post. Yes, 100%. I did a video before about the differences between constructive criticism and complaining, and how essentially if you're just sitting there complaining, you're actually like doing worse for your point because you looked unhinged and nobody's going to relate to what you are saying. People can relate to experiences, they can't really relate to your rage. So if you're just like, game sucks, cosmetics are bad, and I hate Space Marines, but I played the game. It's like, dude, people don't really care about that. But if you're like, spore mines do too much damage, I feel like one spore mine should be nerfed. You shouldn't have like 75% of your health bar deleted because of a spore mine. And I don't know, to talk about like where they're spawning, that could be weird. Like, you have to go into detail with exactly the struggle you are dealing with this game. And then, yes, then this comes into time where people can either, you know, help you out, teach you something that could help you out with that mechanic that you're struggling with or whatever. But yeah, see, that's the thing. That's why people like complaining, because then you don't have to take responsibility for improving. You can just sit there, game bad, I'm good, nobody can say anything about it. And sure, you can say that, and you might think that's a win, but overall, what is happening is people aren't taking you seriously, and then not to mention, you're not convincing anybody that your point is legitimate. So your feelings aren't very, what is it? It's not like validated. So you're frustrated now, but if you can't sit there and comprehend like why you're frustrated, you're not going to find any sort of satisfying progression within your feelings, I guess. Like, you're just going to feel frustrated. You're not even going to be able to make yourself feel better by venting about how bad the game is, because you're not really taking like personal responsibility to try to figure out what you could improve. I mean, at the very least, if you're buying games you don't like, you're going to have to take point at some point to just be like, okay, these games I don't like. Why do I keep getting tricked into buying games I don't like? You know, eventually you're gonna have to take responsibility for yourself. You can just continue to waste money on games you don't like and just keep complaining about them online if you want, but you're not really helping anybody and you're wasting time. So you're essentially just yelling into the sky, and yeah, it's just obviously a waste of time. But yeah, with this post specifically, obviously there were some things that maybe could be considered toxic that maybe players are running into, like getting kicked playing the assault class. But recently I've been playing the assault class quite a bit in siege mode. Well, actually no, I was leveling my console assault class, and I was playing some operations. It felt really good in operations, but I was playing lethal. In Absolute 2.0, I think I played assault once, and it went pretty well. It's mostly siege mode, I think, where assault's balance starts to kind of fall off. So you know what? No, we are not talking about the assault class right now. We're talking about people's reactions to the assault class. And the thing about it is, if somebody's getting toxic with you about what class you are picking, just leave the game. Just leave the game and play the class somewhere else. Also, or you could be the host of siege mode, you know what I mean? Like, you could just queue up siege mode, try to get into the rectangle as quick as possible to make sure that you're the host. There's not really a better option. They need to make a better option for players who want to host games. There has to be one. But yeah, overall, let me know in the comments how you guys feel about this. Let me know in the comments if anybody feels too sweaty to you, or if there's anything that feels too sweaty. But yeah, for siege mode, this is what we were waiting for. So yeah, the fact that everyone kind of has a certain strategy already that they commit to, and that's probably been validated by how many waves they can push with it. Obviously when it comes to this game's end game as well, we were waiting for something we could actually chew on, and now that we do have something that can test us, yeah, we're gonna be using the strongest perks to see how effective they can be, you know. But yeah, if somebody's being toxic with you over the type of class you're playing, that's kind of a different conversation than saying, hey, don't use the Dreadnought on wave 14 when we need it for wave 15. Like, could you imagine being like, hey guys, we need the Dreadnought for wave 15. This is going to clear the way for us, and we're going to be able to, you know, clear siege mode, and we're going to be able to get a victory off of that. And then somebody like answers you, why are you being so sweaty? And then you guys die. Great waste of time there, you know what I mean? And you guys don't get the Dreadnought and just immediately die for whatever reason. Like, yeah, dude, seriously, there's a difference between, yeah, spreading awareness and complaining, 100%. But yeah, let me know in the comments how you guys feel about this. Almost went into another assault rant, and I avoided that, so huge bonus for that. I'm getting better at following the actual subject. Holy cow. But nah, normally I do very well with keeping on topic. It's mostly due to the fact if we're complaining about balance, it's really hard not to bring up the assault class, but I think in operations, it's in a pretty good spot. Prestige 4, fully leveled assault can actually do some pretty good work, but still, you know, when it comes to those deep waves in hard mode or even deep waves in normal siege mode, don't be surprised if unmatched zeal can keep you, don't be surprised if unmatched zeal can keep your team's assault player from going down a little bit too early. That's just a benefit of a good perk. But yeah, overall, what I was also trying to talk about earlier with carries, I just think I just don't think there's a perk in the game that can make a bad player good, is kind of my point with that one. But yeah, overall, let me know in the comments how you guys feel about this, and thanks for watching.